Hello and welcome to The Popcorn Isn't Real. Today we're obviously talking about the movie Nonstop, a 2014 airplane thriller starring Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Nonstop. I don't think that many people know what it is.
No.
I mean, it's not like unknown. People have seen it. It just
it
was
came
another
out,
action
and
movie.
some people
that year,
watched
right?
it. So I guess if you don't know, there is a subgenre of thriller called the airplane thriller, and Liam Neeson made one, and it was good. Jodie Foster also made one called Flight Plan, and it was not good.
I liked it.
Wes Craven made one called Red Eye with Cillian
so
Murphy,
good.
and it is
I love
very
it.
good.
It's a great movie.
If you're gonna watch any movie in this subgenre,
Watch Nonstop, because that's the one we're talking about. And then
watch Nonstop.
watch
Red Eye, because Red Eye is pretty much the best. It's
There
weird.
are certain
though.
things
Red
that
Eye
I
is
like
crazier.
better about Nonstop.
Nonstop's a lot more toned down and especially at the beginning, kind of quiet and slow.
I mean, the things that I like better about Nonstop, I think, are the things that we're going to talk about today, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the plot for Nonstop? What happens in this movie?
It is a movie about Liam Neeson, who plays Bill Marks. He is an air-marshal, and he's on a plane, and he starts getting texts from an unknown person saying they're going to kill someone on the plane every 20 minutes until he somehow gets them $150 million.
Wow. Hey, that's a good setup. I like that setup.
That's a great setup, and that is essentially what happens. People keep dying every 20 minutes.
But wait, who's killing the people every time?
Well, oddly enough, it's Liam Neeson. It's
What?
Bill Marks, the air marshal, who seems to be killing
Liam
people every
Neeson.
20
So
minutes.
He received a text saying people are going to die, and then he took that as a command. He's like, well, I guess so. I better make it happen.
Well, and then eventually they do transfer the $150 million to the account that the quote-unquote hijacker named, and it turns out it's Bill Marks. It's Liam Neeson's account.
What?
So he's holding the plane hostage.
He's holding the plane hostage. He's murdering people, and he's demanding money. This man's a hijacker.
And that's essentially the theory as well. Now, in the normal version of the movie, Liam Neeson is trying to figure out who's setting him up, who's trying to frame him. And eventually he finds out, oh, there's like a really convoluted plot where these two hijacker / kidnapper people who are also kind of terrorists are framing him because they hate air marshals. Specifically, they hate air marshals.
Yeah, well, they hate air marshals.
So, I mean, the movie would have us believe that it's an open and shut case. They were framing Liam Neeson, and at the end of the day, he defeats them and he saves the day, lives happily ever after with the money because he doesn't give it back. Which leads into my theory. I believe that Liam Neeson was the one hijacking the plane, that he was holding people hostage to get money, and he was killing people. He actually was killing people every 20 minutes, no matter what. But I believe that I can explain the presence of the other two hijackers, but I think that Liam Neeson was the mastermind behind this plan to get $150 million.
I really like this movie. I was kind of just expecting like another like Taken knockoff.
This time the plane is taken.
Well, pretty much. I thought maybe like someone on the plane would be taken. I don't know what I was thinking, but
dude, that's Jodie Foster's Flight Plan.
I know exactly. I really thought it was just going to be Flight Plan, but Liam Neeson. But no, it defied my expectations, and it turned out to be a really fun kind of thriller mystery full of twists and turns. It kept me guessing right up until the end, and I especially liked Liam Neeson's character in this movie and how you really buy him as a hijacker. Like he has you start second guessing him halfway through the movie. As I watched it with my wife, she even turned to me and she was like, "Is he the hijacker?" Well, and it starts from the very beginning of the movie with him like he's sitting in his car like super agitated, smoking, drinking.
Yeah, and this is actually, in the normal interpretation of the film, never explained why he's so nervous about doing what he presumably does every day for his job. Yeah. They kind of try to link it back to his daughter who died of leukemia. It has nothing to do with airplanes.
No, and the outright like agitation and like stress like extends like it peaks as the plane is taking off. Like, he's just going crazy while the plane's taking off. He's like shaking, closing his eyes, grabbing his head. The girl next to him, who apparently actually has a fear of flying, has to like play the straight man and calm him down. And he's a freaking air marshal. He flies, I'm assuming, like every day.
It should be often.
So I don't know why this particular flight was just like the end of the world for him, unless he was actually planning to hijack it and did hijack it.
As you said, he's in the car.
He gets a phone call and he's sitting in his nice quiet car. As soon as he answers the phone, he exits the nice quiet car onto like the tarmac of an airport where there's constant noise. And he starts saying, "What? I can't hear you. I can't hear you." Like, dude, get back in your car.
He did not want to hear that guy, apparently.
Did I mention that I really love Liam Neeson as an actor? I think he's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd watch basically any movie with him in it.
He only plays the one character, but
he plays Liam Neeson and he's so good.
He never, ever does an American accent. And this is one of the few movies that it bothers explaining that.
I know.
They're like, oh, he was originally from Northern Ireland.
Like in each Liam Neeson movie, it's like, and here's Liam Neeson as like, you know, a New Yorker. Or here's Liam Neeson as like a grizzled cowboy from the Midwest.
From Ireland.
But yeah, he's always just talking in his Liam Neeson Irish accent. And you're like, oh, a cowboy, eh? So he approaches the airport and he's looking at everybody. Like, he's really scoping out the place. And I was wondering if maybe like he's not actually sure who the other hijackers are that he's going to work with, according to your theory. Like, is he looking for them? He's trying to spot them. And maybe they have some like secret code to tell him who they are.
Yes, I believe that they don't necessarily know each other very well, and they do have a secret code to kind of identify each other. This is something that they somehow planned with the understanding that the less they know about each other, the better, so that when it's over, they can all go their separate ways. He's so nervous, though, he misses the code from his fellow hijacker, whose name we find out later is Tom Bowen, kind of a nerdy guy wearing glasses, who asks him for a smoke and then a light. The reason that he misses this is because he's so busy watching Riley, the New York cop, kiss his wife. Riley kiss his own wife, not Liam Neeson's wife.
After that, Tom, his co-conspirator, or the hijacker, spoilers, he gets a light from Liam Neeson, and then he tells Liam Neeson that he's heading to Amsterdam.
Yes, which he is not doing. And he knows that he's not. Like, according to the normal interpretation of the movie, Tom Bowen knows he will be on the same flight as Bill Marks, and this will make him suspicious. Yeah. Why would he want to make himself suspicious?
There's no reason.
I think the movie wants us to think he somehow knows that this means he'll get duct taped and thrown around by Liam Neeson, so he'll be able to poison some random bankruptcy attorney.
Apparently,
it makes no sense.
I can only take it to mean that when he says, "I'm heading to Amsterdam," that's code for "we are go." Like, let's do this. Right?
That's
if he said,
means.
"I'm heading to France," it would have meant like, call it off. We're
Abort.
Done. We're not doing this. I'm heading to Amsterdam means let's do this, right? Everything's in place. That's all I could think of.
Yes. Another important note that will become more important later is just that I believe each co-conspirator in this plan does not have all the details. Only Liam Neeson has all the details.
Yeah,
so some of them are eventually surprised when this turns into like a hijacking and there's a bomb and stuff like that.
Now, I just have to point out that this is very supported by the movie itself, because at the end of the movie, we learn that there's two hijackers, and then those two hijackers have an argument because they disagree about what's about to happen. One of them thinks we're about to die. The other one thinks we're leaving to go be rich. Why would we stay here and die? That makes no sense. So,
both of them seem to promptly forget about the bomb they presumably brought.
It's not that important. Could slip their minds. But yeah, either way, there's clearly some disagreement and misinformation between the hijackers, even in just the normal interpretation of the movie. So that's completely viable.
In security, Liam Neeson pushes past another one of his co-conspirators, a man named Zach White, who is black, not white.
Yes. Wow. Great detail. I was going to point it out if you didn't. Another interesting note about Zach White is that the other lady in the movie says that Zach works with cell phones. He's like a cell phone programmer. He says he's on a way for an interview for like a systems design or systems analyst or something, which he points out is not programming, which is also what I pointed out when he said it. I was like, that's not programming. Then he was like, yeah, and that's also not really programming. But it turns out what he actually is some sort of super hacker because he's able to set up a pretty amazing little phone hack.
Now, I do think that Zach White does work with cell phones because when Liam Neeson walks past him in the security line, he's having a conversation with someone on the phone about cell phones and designing cell phones. He decides he's going to antagonize Liam Neeson by holding him up in line and then getting angry at him when Liam Neeson just walks past him and he's like, "Oh, sorry. Was I in your way?"
Right. Well, I think in the normal interpretation of the movie, part of the hijacker's plan was to antagonize Liam Neeson as much as they could because they know he's like an alcoholic who's like almost insane at the moment. Like he's going crazy with whatever stress he's dealing with. So I think they're kind of trying to break him because they know that he's already not the most reliable air-marshal and will be only less reliable if antagonized.
If that's their plan, then they actually don't do a very good job of that either because they're not antagonizing him very much.
Just a little, you know. They don't want to like be over the top.
Can I get a light? Oh, sorry, am I in your way?
I'm going to Amsterdam. Psych. I'm going with you.
All right. No, I believe that "sorry, am I in your way" is his code that he has specifically with Zach White, that we are go. And with the other guy, it was Amsterdam.
Okay. Well, either way, he drops that
say
code
that to
twice.
each other several
once
times
outside the plane and once on the plane.
Well, he wants to make sure we're go, right? Because I think Zach White is a little nervous about this whole plan.
Well, yeah,
he seems like the nicest one.
Die. The other guy's like, yeah, time to die.
Now, Liam Neeson is pissed. He calls his boss and is yelling at him on the phone saying, "I cannot stay in London for 3 days. Get me back on the next flight."
Bad time. You have to do what you have to do. Well, guess what? So do I. What's he talking about?
He's alluding clearly to the fact that he has to hijack the plane.
Yes.
And once he gets to the country where he lands, he needs an overnight flight to a different country where he can't be extradited.
And this conversation specifically is only in the movie to make you suspect Liam Neeson.
Yeah, we're not the only one who reads this conversation as sinister because later one of the federal agents calls him on the phone and says, "You threatened your boss."
Yes.
Liam Neeson gets on the plane. Zach has the window seat. Bill is sitting next to him, Liam Neeson. And then a third co-conspirator arrives, Jen, the redhead.
Okay, so you think she's in on it too. I was wondering about
she's
this.
very much in on it. Jen comes up to them and she asks Zach to switch seats. She says, "I want the window seat." Now, Zach sitting by Liam Neeson was part of their plan. And if you look, you'll see Zach looks at Liam Neeson nervously as though asking for permission. And then Liam Neeson looks at him and then he says, "Yeah, I'll switch seats with you." So we already talked about this, but he's ridiculously nervous as they take off, and Jen has to like talk him through it. She has to like touch his hand.
I know. He's like
ask him about his daughter. As we already said, there is no reason for an air marshal to be acting like this unless they're about to hijack the plane. And also about to kill someone every 20 minutes.
I know. Yeah, maybe that's what he's most worried about.
Which I'm not even sure was part of their original plan. I think he might just
you think he just did that for fun?
I'm not sure. This is an important moment. He goes into the bathroom. He starts dismantling things in the bathroom, namely the smoke detector, which he tapes over. So we know he tampers with the ship's systems in this specific bathroom. And then he starts getting the creepy texts. "In exactly 20 minutes, I'm going to kill someone on this plane." The text says to him, "You're a resourceful guy. Have a drink. Figure it out." I think perhaps some of these texts are real, but I think some of them are his alcoholism talking to him.
Okay.
Have a drink.
You think he's like schizophrenic and having a meltdown, hallucinating?
Just a little bit. So he tells the other air marshal, Jack Hammond, about the killer. I think he's setting up a plot that will allow him to get Jack alone later and kill him. Here's the reason why it's important to kill Jack. Liam Neeson knows he's going to need a badge and a gun, and he knows he's going to lose his very soon.
Whoa. He certainly is.
That's in both interpretations of the movie. That's what he uses Jack for. So he decides it's time to kill Hammond, and he breaks his neck in the bathroom and then leaves him there. Now, one possible wrench in my theory, he tells the TSA to trace the bank number to find out who it belongs to. Now, if it belongs to him, why would he tell the TSA to do that? I believe that he knows they're going to do it anyway, and it makes him look less suspicious if he tells them to do it first. Yeah. So that then he can be like, well, why would I tell you to trace it if it was mine?
If he wanted this money, why would he use an account that's like clearly set up in his name? Why wouldn't he try to obfuscate it?
Well, we find out that he is somewhat short-sighted, a little bit crazy, and desperately in need of money.
Think about it.
I think he just needed money now. And so he was like, oh, just put it in my account. He probably was supposed to open another account, but he's just so like alcoholic and unorganized that he forgot to do that. His phone reminds him to reset his watch so he won't forget to kill someone again. He's got to remember to do that every 20 minutes. So he always sets himself a timer and sets himself some text notifications, to remind himself. Bill lies to the captain about killing Hammond. He's like, did anyone die? And he's like, no.
No. Totally. Didn't just break that guy's neck. The other air-marshal.
So we find out that maybe he was talking to himself while texting, but one of the things he was doing this whole time while texting was texting Hammond. He texted Hammond, I know what's in your briefcase. And we saw him doing this. He was standing right behind Jen. Hammond is the other air marshal. Sorry.
Right. Just for anybody who hasn't memorized all the names of every character in this show, this movie.
What? It's a classic.
Yeah,
so
it is.
So we saw him as Jen was circling people. He was just chilling back there texting. What he was doing was texting Hammond saying, meet me in the back of the plane. I know what's in your briefcase. When Nancy, the flight attendant, comes to the bathroom, Liam Neeson shares the information that Hammond is dead in the most frightening way possible.
I know.
That's what Christine told me. He just creepily and slowly opens the door, saying nothing, to show her there's a dead body behind me.
Not just in the bathroom. A dead body that has been like posed in a gruesome cry for help, with his head like hanging back and his mouth open and his arm lifting up. Like, it's so great. What is Liam Neeson doing? To calm her down, he grabs her by the throat, pushes her up against the wall, shoves his hand over her mouth, and starts yelling at her. Great way to calm someone down.
What he does is he starts threatening Nancy. This was calculated because he knows he needs her help. So he showed her the body, he covers her mouth, and he says, you know me, I could never do something like this. But we know that he can because he just did. That is a lie. It's not like he was framed for that murder. He did that murder. No matter what interpretation you're using. He's threatening her to say nothing or he'll kill her too. And he says, I had no choice. You know me. Look at me. Implying that, he might do the same to her if he has no choice.
Oh, no.
And then he just hijacks the plane. Like he just straight up does
absolutely.
it. He takes control of flight without telling the captain, to which the captain responds, we have a possible hijacking.
Yeah, more than possible.
So he tells Jen, his co-conspirator, during the scene where he's searching everyone, that she should scream if she sees anything suspicious. I think this is just another hint that she's on his side, and that if anyone's going up against their hijacking plan, that she should get his attention.
Okay.
He's specifically interested in the bankruptcy attorney. I think that's because he's bankrupt. He's interested when the guy says, "Oh, you're a bankruptcy." Yeah, are you any good? I believe this is also where he plants a cell phone on the bankruptcy attorney as he's patting him down.
Okay.
Now, the movie would have us believe that Tom Bowen somehow did this with his hands duct taped together.
Oh, yeah. He's like a magician.
I don't think so. I think it's far more likely that Liam Neeson did it when he was patting people down and taking their phones.
Either Liam Neeson did it right then, which makes a lot of sense, or Liam Neeson has to have helped Tom Bowen do it later when they're fighting. If Tom did do it, Liam Neeson helped him by like maneuvering him over to, you know, the bald attorney dude and pushing him on top of him, wrestling him around so they could put the phone into his jacket. Like there's absolutely no way Tom could have done this without any help. No, I mean, not quite, but.
So he gets on the phone with the TSA agent and he tells him in 3 minutes, someone is going to die.
I know. It sounds like he's just threatening.
Yeah.
I believe it's at this point where he's just saying like, send the money. Wire the money now. In 3 minutes, someone's going to die.
Exactly.
This is literally what the hijacker of the plane would be saying. He's restating the threat and telling them to capitulate to the demands.
He realizes he's starting to look suspicious and he needs someone to pin it on. So he grabs Tom Bowen. He's like, hey, you said you were going to Amsterdam, but you're here. And then Bowen said, oh, I just told you that for $100. Now, I think Bowen is actually being somewhat truthful here. I think he was hired by Liam Neeson on this job for relatively cheap, $100. I don't think he knew how much money they were originally going to steal, but he figures it out later. And then he describes the person who hired him. Bowen does. He says he was white, he had brown hair, and a European accent. Well,
wow.
That describes Liam Neeson.
Sure does.
I mean, they actually bother pointing out his accent in this movie. There must be a reason for that, because most movies don't.
I know.
Then the captain of the airplane dies. They get a doctor to tell them it was induced anaphylaxis. I want to point out, maybe this pilot was killed with a pen blow dart gun from a hole in the bathroom. Even if that's the way it happened, it still could have been Liam Neeson. Would
have you believe? Just you're not just making up random stuff.
Now it could have been Liam Neeson or one of his co-conspirators who did it, because we know he was messing around in that bathroom. Yeah. But also another take is that Liam Neeson is the only one who sees the blow dart pen gun. He doesn't show it to anyone. And also, Liam Neeson is the only one who has had access to the captain. And we know this poison takes a long time to act and then suddenly kills you without warning.
That was the first thing that I said when this scene happened the first time I watched it, where I was like, okay, so the captain died. The cockpit was sealed, and the only person who is coming in and out is Liam Neeson. That means that the killer was either Liam Neeson or the co-pilot.
Yeah. So I just say Liam Neeson had plenty of opportunity to kill him with or without a blowgun.
Right. Well, then why do you think Liam Neeson was like looking around investigating the bathroom and finding the secret blowgun hole, the secret passage between the bathroom and the cockpit? Like, why was he doing that?
He's the only one in that scene, so take it with a grain of salt. I think that's him thinking of, oh, what's my alibi here? I didn't think about that when I poisoned the captain. Oh, there's a hole in the wall. There's a blow dart gun that I don't show to anyone, and look, little needles.
Man, I love it when movies just without warning like transition from reality into the main character imagining what his alibi will be later and never explain that. It's great.
They do it all the time.
Yeah, it's like a normal thing for a movie.
The other explanation that might be slightly better is that he didn't know that Jen was going to kill someone right then, and that Jen is the one who killed the captain. And he's like,
that was
whoa,
what I was kind of thinking too.
How did she do it? Oh, I see. They have a conversation later that kind of alludes to that.
I thought that maybe he didn't know the next person on the chopping block was the freaking captain. Because like, why, of all the people you could kill on that flight, don't kill the captain?
But he's quick to use this information to threaten TSA, because he calls up TSA and says, Marinick, the captain is dead. I need you to transfer the money. I think Marinick, the other TSA agent, wants to talk to Hammond, and he says, Hammond is dead. Transfer the money. Mm-hmm. Then he comes back and he finds Jen and Zach talking to each other in very conspiratorial tones, like they're sitting close and whispering.
But that's because they have a plan. They're trying to help him, right?
Zach was working with them, but I don't think he knew they were going to like kill someone every 20 minutes. I think he wasn't necessarily aware of the full plan, and I think he's getting nervous.
Because he's pretty gung-ho about killing people in just about a half hour from now.
No,
he takes off his shirt and pulls out a weapon and starts,
that's him living out his fantasy, his best self.
Okay.
No, that's because that's in self-defense. We'll get to that. Together, Liam Neeson and Jen strong arm Zach into helping them.
Helping them what? Trace the phone that they know where it is? Like, they don't need to strong arm him. This is part of the plan.
They need an excuse to get that guy alone, the attorney alone, so Liam Neeson can kill him.
Right, but still, I don't think they need to strong arm Zach. I think he would.
Well, no, they're just afraid he's gonna like betray them or something. They're like, no, you're in on this too. You see, they want him to be part of one of the murders so that he can't like blackmail them later. So that's why they get him to be the one to finger the guy, you know, to do the phone.
This is getting things are getting hot in here, huh?
So Liam Neeson shows the phone text to Zach, and then Zach is like, this dude is talking about killing people. Can he see us right now? And then Liam Neeson looks right at Zach and says, I'm here.
Wow. It's like, not only can I see you, I'm right next to you.
So he's just borderline threatening Zach. He's like, you remember, you're in on this plan. If you turn against us, you're the next one on the chopping block. And then when Jen and Zach are alone, Zach says, I hope we can trust this guy. And Jen looks at him and says, I trust him. And then Zach, proving that he wasn't necessarily privy to all the information in their plan, says, I'd rather not be an accessory to hijacking. Wow. And then in parentheses, but I'm going to be.
I'm kind of confused as to what Jen's role was in this hijacking.
It's a little confusing. I think a lot of it is emotional support.
I'm a little confused as to what everybody's role was in this hijacking, except for Liam Neeson. Like, he's the only person here with a clear-cut role.
I think part of that is because, like we already talked about, Liam Neeson was throwing this together at the last minute using his own bank account, just giving this random guy $100, like, here, get on the plane. I don't know, I might need you as a scapegoat or something. So they find the attorney using Zach's little phone bug.
His method for hacking the hijacker's phone, I thought it was really cool how he explained it, and it's pretty realistic. Basically, he just explains that, well, all we have to do is send like an MMS, like a multimedia message to the hijacker's phone, because pretty much any phone will download any image that you send to it just by default without even asking you to. And the interesting thing here is that if the image that you send to somebody is in fact some kind of what you'd call a canary token, a canary token is basically a file that when accessed will do whatever it can to try and phone home, basically. It will try and cause the device that accessed it to send a message back to your server with whatever information it can gather about the device. A corporation might scatter canary tokens in like sensitive servers where a hacker might get in and start trying to take things, so that if somebody does access a canary token, then we not only get a notification of it, but also we get as much information about them as we can. So it's kind of cool, and it's a totally realistic thing.
And all they see is Liam Neeson dragging the attorney away, roughly slamming him into things. Next thing we know, dead. Nancy, the flight attendant, comes in and he's foaming at the mouth and dead.
I mean, really, the only person who had a chance to kill this guy, whether they used poison or what, was Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I just like, what's more likely here? Duct taped Tom Bowen somehow managed to stab this guy with a needle while being dragged around by Liam Neeson 20 minutes ago, or Liam Neeson just killed him.
Either way, I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson killed this guy. Even if you're watching the movie, like just with the normal interpretation and Liam Neeson's actually the good guy, I think maybe he was too rough with this guy and accidentally killed him. And he's like, he was poisoned. the hijacker did it. It wasn't me.
So Jen sees the dead body. He asks her if she's okay after seeing the dead body. And she's like, oh, me? Oh, fine. I'm great. And he's like, you shouldn't be seeing all of this. I think this is because for deniability reasons, he didn't necessarily want Jen to be seeing this part of the plan where he murdered the lawyer.
It's kind of hard to miss. He did it in front of everyone. It was like right there.
So he goes to the old lady and asks her, was there anyone in there who went into the bathroom after you? And this old lady's like, I saw Jen go in. Then he goes up and confronts Jen, and she's drinking. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't. in parentheses, because we're hijacking a plane and we should be sober.
Working. But he's drinking too, so, you know.
So then he's asking her, why the window seat? And she's like, what? And we see that he's kind of testing her. And he says, have you ever seen one of these before? Showing her the poison needle. And she gives him a shrewd look and says, no. And they're getting their story straight so that they, like, this is what they're going to say to the police later. And he says, you sat next to me and asked questions. And she's like, to calm you down for the hijacking. And he's like, but you avoided personal questions. And she says, oh, yeah, because, you know, the less we know of each other, the better. Like,
okay, so this is like a practice alibi, like a practice interview with the cops. He's like, so now tell me what you're going to say. Have you seen this before? No. Okay.
So Jen says, control is an illusion. There is no control over anything. I don't know why she says that except to foreshadow that the other two guys are going to turn on him in a second.
Why wouldn't she just say that? I mean, why is she being so cryptic?
No, it's foreshadowing.
Oh, okay. This is like a literary device. It's not actually. Yeah. So this is what they wrote in, knowing that we would know that he is the hijacker and his conspirators are
this
about
to
to
clue
turn
to
him.
us.
Okay.
Jen has the phone that they planted on the attorney, and suddenly it activates the bomb.
Well, and this is getting to my kind of biggest question for you, which is why on earth would Liam Neeson bring a bomb onto this plane? It seems like his plan was going really well without it.
Oh, no, but that's easy. He explains that because he needs to get this plane to land now and get it down to 8,000 feet.
I gotcha. So he doesn't want to get off in England. He wants to get off in Iceland.
Right, because his boss didn't get him the overnight flight from England.
So this bomb was something he cooked up in the bathroom at the airport. That's when his partner was like, you want some eye drops? He's like, no, take this bomb and shove it in your bag of Coke. They just
when else did that bomb get there?
I mean, presumably the other air-marshal had like prepared it from home.
Always had the bomb?
Yes, he smuggled it on board. Like
why smuggle it in Coke?
They told him to. They said, now wrap the bomb in Coke and somehow smuggle all of these illicit substances on board. I know.
That means as soon as you see it, you're gonna like open it up and find the bomb.
Well, and
putting it in the most conspicuous thing possible.
Yeah, it just makes it harder to smuggle, basically. Like, smuggling a bomb is already hard enough, but a bomb wrapped in drugs for no reason. It's like my favorite part of the movie, that they had him not only smuggle the Coke on board for no reason, but also put the bomb in the Coke, and let's see if you can get that on the plane.
I think maybe when Liam Neeson planted this bomb, he thought, oh, this bomb is a huge deal. I might doubt myself. I'm going to need some Coke to really hype myself up for this.
I was just going to ask you. Do you think that he went in there just for like a pick-me-up?
Yes. No, I think that he planted the bomb because he wants the plane to land somewhere else.
I gotcha. Okay.
And he seems to know really well bomb protocol and wants to do it really bad. So, and he also calls Marinick immediately, the TSA agent. He's like, Marinick, there's a bomb on the plane. We've got to drop to 8,000 feet.
But all of this is what you would do if you were on a plane with a bomb and knew bomb protocol. You would immediately try and get the plane to land because you don't want to die, right?
I'm just saying, if there was someone using bomb protocol that only TSA people know to accomplish their scheme, is it more likely that it's, I don't know, Tom Bowen, some random school teacher, or the air-marshal?
Yeah, definitely the air-marshal.
Who knows about this protocol?
He's the mastermind.
So there's news reports about how terrible Liam Neeson is, how he's alcoholic.
Pretty terrible.
Yeah. One of the news reports says these air-marshal people, well, they just like walk right past security. And then Liam Neeson angrily says, walked right past security. He's reminded that he forgot to do that in the beginning, and he went through normal security.
Yeah, I know. He
with a gun somehow and wasn't flagged.
Yeah.
But Hammond did it the right way and got that bomb in for him.
Good thing Hammond was a little more forward thinking. So I believe it's around this point in the movie where he accomplishes his objective and they call him up and they're like, the money is yours. You win, Mr. Hijacker.
And he says, if you transferred the money, prove it. And then they send him the confirmation code, which is what that's what the text messages were asking him for at the beginning, was the confirmation code.
Right. Whoa. He really wanted that confirmation code.
All the passengers are grabbing him and like things are going bad for Liam Neeson. They're asking if there's a bomb and all that stuff. And then Bowen gets the gun and he points it at the passengers to get them off of Liam Neeson. And then he asks, is there a bomb on this plane? And I think that Bowen did not know about the bomb part of the plan.
So only Liam Neeson knew about the bomb.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's why he had to wrap it in coke.
He killed.
Yeah. And that's why he had to kill the other air marshal. So I think that neither Bowen nor Zach White knew about the bomb part of the plan, and that's why they turn on him here, because they're not quite sure why he's doing that. This is how he gets everyone back on his side. He says, everything you've heard about me is true. Mm-hmm. I'm not a good father. I'm not a good man. And then he says, this is also true. I'm not hijacking this plane. I'm trying to save it. Because at this point, he has the money. He just needs it to land. He wants to save the plane now.
Right. So he fights off like 5 people at once, which was just amazing to watch, like, 70-year-old Liam Neeson fighting off a plane full of people all by himself. I love when they try and portray old man Liam as like
so
just
tough
Captain America, just like a super soldier. It's great.
He's not even like buff, like
I know
Jason
he's
Statham.
just a guy. He's like an old man, and whoa, he's taking on. He just broke that policeman's nose. He just like lifted 2 people and body slammed them to the ground. It's so good. Do you think the policeman was involved in any way? He does apologize to the policeman later.
Yes, I do. I do think the policeman was involved.
What was his role?
I think he was there as like a backup bodyguard to help protect Liam Neeson if things went sideways, they do.
But he also didn't know about the bomb and was like, oh crap, we gotta stop this maniac.
Liam Neeson didn't tell anyone about the bomb.
Liam, what do you do? Well, like we said, it was a last minute thing. He just thought up the bomb in like the bathroom and handed it to his partner. That's the only way it makes sense.
So at this point, I think Tom Bowen realizes he's dead meat. He's like, oh man, this guy has the bomb. He's going to kill me probably. So that's when he starts taking hostages. So he grabs the gun that Liam Neeson had given to Riley, the police officer. And then it turns out the gun's not loaded. And Riley, the police officer, is surprised and says, you gave me an unloaded weapon? Now, in the famous movie Taken, 2008, Liam Neeson claims that a cop would be able to feel the difference between a loaded and an unloaded gun.
Uh-oh.
I think this applies here. And this is how I know Riley is in on it. I don't think he's actually a police officer.
He's not a cop. He had no idea.
But this is how Zach figures out that Riley is in on it. And that's why Zach shoots Riley, the cop, or the not cop.
This is a weird part of the movie because he sure does shoot that guy in the head, like in the chin. And then like 10 minutes later, they cart him off the plane and he's like, oh, hey, I'm fine. With not a bullet mark on him. He's
it
like,
was my nose again. It wasn't
like,
my best feature. Turned out it was.
Can't help but wonder if like it tested badly having him die. So they like quickly shot that scene with him being alive and inserted it possible. At the end. I gotta believe that's what happened.
Yeah. So then Zach points the gun at Jen, who he knows is in on it. And he knows that she is loyal to Liam Neeson because of their conversation earlier.
Right. So I kind of thought that Zach and Tom are betraying Liam now, not only because of the bomb, but I thought that they also might be trying to take the money. Like,
yes, they are.
They don't want to share it with Liam. So they're like, okay, time to dispose of him. Exactly. And they explain to him how they'll do it because apparently it's not a savings account, it's a trust. And they think that, the government will just go ahead and, once he's dead officially, the terrorist died. Let's, empty out his trust and give it to everyone else and it will be perfectly legal. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that the FBI would be all over that money.
You have to remember, though, that that they're desperate right now and they're really hoping to get that money, especially because Bowen realized he only got $100 out of this whole deal.
Oh man, he's like, I get so much more.
He also says he didn't even get paid that $100.
Yeah, I know. He says, I'm trying to find the guy, get my $100.
That was like a hint, nudge, nudge to Liam. Like, when are you going to pay me, dude?
Well, but then Tom is like, we're not walking away from this. And Zach's like, of course we are. I want to survive. And Tom's like, no, we're going to die. So yeah, kind of wonder what's going on there.
Well, he thought they could do it. And then he realized, wait, no, it's not going to work.
Yeah. He just gave up.
Also, when Zach shows up with the gun, for some reason, not quite sure why they do it at this point in the movie, but Bowen and Liam Neeson just kind of go over their previous plan and maybe how it changed, because they're like, he was supposed to sit next to me. And the Bowen's like, he was close enough.
Well, they're clearing the air. They're airing their grievances. Like, he's like, I'm so confused. Nothing is happening how you described it to me.
He was supposed to
be next to you. What happened? Why are you sitting next to Jen?
And then this is the best proof, I think, for this theory, is Tom Bowen says, do you have any idea how easy this was? How easy it was to just let Liam Neeson get $150 million being crazy, and now Tom can just kill him and take the money.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's the only way that makes sense, because
in the normal interpretation, this was not easy.
No, it's like the most convoluted, insane plan ever. Like, it was so easy to, I don't know, have one air-marshal smuggle a bag full of coke and bombs onto the plane, frame the other air-marshal, have him kill the first marshal, but not actually be in on it.
Kill the first air-marshal at 20 minutes.
Yes, exactly at that time. Poison the captain by using a blowgun and a secret wall passage into the cockpit that he apparently created himself. Like, what was that secret passage doing there? I don't know.
It's the murder hole. It's standard issue.
Having his co-conspirator hack his own phone, which he has hid in another passenger's jacket while being manhandled and accused, and also managing to somehow convince everyone that he's innocent while he does all this,
and poisoning that other passenger
that
while his hands are duct taped.
Yeah, do you have any idea how easy that is, dude? It's so easy. That was my favorite line of the movie, because I was just like, what? None of this was easy.
So good. Yeah, I think it makes much more sense if he's like, it was so easy, I just let you be a crazy lunatic.
That makes a lot more sense. Yes. It's way easier if you just
because if you think about it, in my interpretation, Bowen had very little to do with this plan. He did nothing. I'm not even sure what his role was.
Yeah, absolutely.
He thought it was going to be an easy $100. It was an easy $150 million.
Yeah.
So around this point, Liam Neeson, expert manipulator that he is, starts to get Zach back onto his side. And Bowen sees that, so he shoots Zach because, he doesn't want to be outnumbered. And then they have this cool midair shot where Liam Neeson shoots Tom Bowen midair, kills him.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's the opposite of what should have happened right then.
So then Zach gets up and he thinks, because he was coming back to Liam Neeson's side, he says, I'm getting off this plane. And Liam Neeson stands up and says, am I in your way?
Whoa.
As if to say, I'm not letting you off this plane, Zach. You betrayed me.
But I thought that meant we're good to go. I thought he was acknowledging him. He's like, yes.
It's ironic, though. It's like, we're good to go to kill you.
Liam,
and then
cold-blooded.
The explosion, which Zach seems to have totally forgotten about, kills him.
Whoa.
And
poor Zach.
Doesn't kill Liam Neeson. He's good.
No,
he's immune. He's
right
immune
there.
to his own bombs.
Pretty amazing.
They're crash landing. The oxygen masks drop. Jen grabs the mask and puts it on the little kid's head, Becca's head, before doing herself. This is exactly what they tell you not to do in every speech on every plane in the world before you take off. So even though she says she flies often, she must not fly as often as she says, or she would know that.
You got it. Dude, I just want to say, I hated her stupid, I had heart surgery and therefore I wanted to sit next to a window. How dare you suspect me? Like, that whole speech was the dumbest thing ever.
It made no sense. Suspicious.
And
he had every
her
reason
speech
to
didn't dispel any suspicion.
And the actual normal version of the movie does not explain how Tom Bowen killed the captain, because she didn't see anyone else go into the bathroom, and she was the last one in there before he died. Like, no matter what, Jen killed the captain.
Or either Jen or Liam Neeson, right? Like I said. I mean, it's much more likely that it was Liam Neeson, because why would the bathroom have a secret passage into the cockpit? Who sat there drilling that passage for like 20 minutes of the flight without getting noticed?
Yeah, best line in the whole movie. They get off. Liam Neeson is a hero. Everyone loves him, even though no one knows any of the details.
I think that was my first thought when the movie ended. I was like, it doesn't matter what good he did. He would be so arrested. Like, he would be absolutely under arrest.
Maybe once he goes to court, if he has people testify.
Well, yeah, maybe, but that would have to, come when the court proceedings happened. He wouldn't just immediately be hailed as a hero and go home. He killed at least 3 people.
Then we get to the best line in the movie when the TSA agent calls him on the phone and says, "Oh, you're such a hero. You're so great. Oh, by the way, we are going to need that money back." And Liam Neeson says, "What money?"
What? You can just do that?
And then they all just kind of laugh. Oh, ha, 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 ha.
I mean, what could this mean except, like, I'm not giving you any money back. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's my account with my money in it. I'm leaving.
Then he says to Riley, the cop, perhaps, who wasn't a cop, he says, "Riley, you son of a gun." And Riley says, "Next time, give me a loaded weapon." And Liam Neeson says, "Next time, don't get shot." I think they're already planning their next
They're
heist.
already planning it. They're gonna hijack another plane.
Next time.
Oh boy.
Because Riley was so important to his plan. You're my right-hand man, Riley. You'll be on the next one.
He sure was. He was great. He didn't just immediately double cross Liam Neeson and do nothing else.
And then get shot. Okay, and then he goes up to Jen. He says, "Thank you." And she says, "For what?" And he says, "You stood by me, unlike all my other co-conspirators who betrayed me."
He's right. She did. She was the only one.
Your daughter would be proud that you stole all that money and killed all those people.
She sure would. She loved that kind of thing. I would give the movie 2 thumbs up. I really like Nonstop, and it's a lot of fun to watch. The Theory, I would give The Theory nonstop thumbs up. It's clearly the movie. The movie doesn't make any sense without The Theory. The Theory makes sense of a nonsensical movie. Clearly, Liam Neeson was hijacking this plane. Did you see him walking around the cabin, waving his gun around for no reason, manhandling people, duct taping them?
Dude, I love Liam Neeson's Coke bomb that he thought up. This is such a good idea.
It this gives me everything I need. I'll have the Coke and I'll have the bomb. Oh man,
it's so simple.
Great.
Do you have any idea how easy this was?
Mm-hmm. Everyone should watch Nonstop. And definitely, if you do watch Nonstop, keep this theory in mind, because if you watch this movie thinking that Liam Neeson is the hijacker, you will find yourself definitely believing that he is the hijacker 100% by the time the movie's over.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me last time I watched it. He's clearly a bad guy.
Yeah. And, if you like our podcast, you should listen to our podcast Nonstop. Just keep listening to it.
Oh, that was a good one, dude. Hey, you know what else you could do? You could check out our Patreon and you could, I don't know what it's called, subscribe to it nonstop.
Nonstop, yeah.
No, I mean, if you like what we do and if you want us to keep doing it, yeah, every little bit counts. It's takes a lot of work to keep this podcast going. We really appreciate any kind of support that anybody has to offer us. We love doing this podcast, so rate it, give it a 5 stars, tell your friends. Everyone likes a good fan theory. And until next time, remember, the popcorn isn't real.